Welcome back to Behind the Vocals. This week we are joined by Tom Verbos of I Am Mook. It's an amazing episode where we talk about content creation, the importance of it in 2025 in promoting your band, as well as all things vocals, lyrics, and much, much more. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. All right, we are back and we are joined by the one and only Mr. Tom Verbos. Verbos, hello. I stroked out mid-introduction. Wow, we're starting this episode great. Tom
We
Verbos.
went over this.
Wow, dude, I don't know what it is. It's late for me. I'm struggling already. I Am Mook, dude. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just sitting outside. You know, it's actually pretty nice out tonight, thankfully. So
Nice.
I don't see too many bugs coming up to this light, thankfully.
Not getting attacked.
But
And
yeah,
you're not
yet.
struggling to talk like I am. Apparently, dude, I don't know what that is. But
We'll see as the show goes on. You know.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Maybe I can get my ducks in a row. You know, but how's everything been going, man? How's the band going?
The band's going pretty great. I know we talked about this a little bit offline before we got on here and started recording, but we have a whole brand new lineup from the beginning of the band. Now it's myself as the vocalist, and then guitarist. He's one of the original members as well. His name's Todd Holbrook, and then you have now our bassist Matt Wilson, and then the drummer who we met through Brandon Watson, Malachi Smith. So yeah, it's going great. Those dudes are plugging away at trying to learn all the new material that we got, because we're trying to get out there and play some shows as soon as possible. The biggest problem right now, I think, for us as a band is getting the drummer up to speed, because he's the brand new member. So getting him going and getting up to speed. At this point, he's just about there. So
that's good.
But
that's really good. But you guys have been crushing it. Time of recording this, you just released, I want to say Friday? You released a single? Or was it
no. It was Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. So it's a little under a week old right now.
Yeah, right. Because we started doing, we used to release Fridays, because that just seemed to be like, you know, in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's the end of the week. What we found was, if you release, honestly, we might even switch it to releasing on Mondays eventually. But it seems to me that if you release in the middle of the week and you release at midnight, those streams, because most people, like, you think about it, like, most people don't really listen to music as much on the weekends. The only time that I put my headphones in to listen to music on the weekends if I go to the gym, and that's only for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, you know. But most people, you know, they have desk jobs, or even if you're a blue collar worker, you pop in your headphones and you're on the backhoe or whatever you're doing, you know, and you're listening to music throughout your work day. So that's kind of where we went with it. We're like, oh, let's try this out. And it seems to be working really, really well to release in the middle of the week. Because it gives it that time to, you know, get some good stream, as well as promotion and stuff. But yeah. So but it's going really good. I think right now we're sitting somewhere, since last Wednesday, I think we're sitting at like 6,500 streams or something on the song, which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and Mouthbreaker, you know, obviously had a lot of pull in that too. Pretty solid dudes. But yeah, it's been going great, man.
Dude, I love it. You guys are crushing it. You're crushing it on socials. I see you guys staying active, staying busy with content, as well as, you know, music, just pumping out the jams, and you guys are doing big things, man. Super awesome.
Yeah, yeah. The social media thing is kind of like my baby. Like I handle all the socials, and just make a bunch of silly, goofy memes, whatever. I mean, memes seem to sell. Humor sells. You know, people love that kind of stuff, and it's relatable. I try as hard as I can to reply to every comment, every freaking DM, because I just want, you know, I know, like, as a fan of a band, if that band replies back to me, it means a lot. So I try and be active with that as well, regardless if it's on the band social or on my personal. I just, you know, I think it's nice to get that kind of what's the word? I don't know. Confirmation is not the word I'm looking for, but it's
I get what
validation.
Saying, right?
It's get that validation. Yeah, as a fan, that's
It definitely goes a long way. Like you said, like if you're really digging a band and then they respond to you, just like, oh, I matter. Like, you know, I'm not just in a sea of people for them. Like, they care. And I don't know, it goes that little extra mile, you know.
For sure. And it's, a lot of people like they just want to like, level with you on your music and stuff. But some people do take it a little too far, and then those are the people where you're like, you have to kind of slowly ease yourself away from them because they're a little
Like the
much.
meme where you're like
And you're
backing into the
and like
bush.
yeah, and like you don't want to be rude or mean to them because they are a genuine fan. They're just like a little too pushy,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's the only time when I'm like, all right, dude, like, settle down.
So
Sometimes it doesn't happen often, but
since we're on the content already, like, how is it with doing content creation and bands here in 2025? Because like, I'm a little old school. From like whenever I was really doing the band thing, it was the handout flyers, and pretty much the only
mhm,
social medias you had were MySpace, and then Facebook kind of took over where you would grow your
yep.
band on Facebook. But now it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I mean, you're all over the place. YouTube. It's
Yeah, dude. Honestly, there's some great things and some terrible things with like the boom of like social media and like the huge presence of like because most people now like if you're a musician you have the ability to have a home studio.
yeah,
It's relatively affordable, so like anybody technically can make music. Obviously there has to be some level of talent there because if you're making garbage nobody's going to listen to it. I mean,
right.
that's part of it. You have to make good music, and then the other part of it is good content is huge with pushing music nowadays. And for me, my biggest, I think, success that I've had is learning how to use the app CapCut really well.
Mm-hmm.
I use CapCut daily. I mean, I pay for it because like there's so many features on it that you unlock when you pay for it, and it's not that expensive. But I have that, and then I also utilize Procreate on my iPad to like make stupid little memes or just edit photos or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes making merch, it just really depends on what I'm doing. Like I like to handle almost exclusively all of that.
So you're essentially the
um
manager of the band, like.
technically, I guess you could say that it's myself and the guitarist Todd. We have a huge hand in pushing everything. It's always been like that. It's been me and Todd pushing things. And not to say anything about like even the previous band members. I mean, they did their like the minimum, which is like learn your stuff, play your music, come to practice. I mean, that's all that's really expected. That's all
Yeah.
I expect of my band members. um I push the stuff because I know it works. So, anytime that we get a new song, I have at least like maybe like a day or two before the drop of the song or the EP or album or whatever it is, I have like 6 or 7, videos in vertical content is what I mean, it kills it with, vertical content reels and stuff. Um, I have like 6 or 7 of them lined up and ready to go to just like drop throughout the day, and that seems to also work really well. So we kind of like strategically plan
How
it
many
as,
times
as
do you
best
post
as
a
we
day?
can. If it's just a normal day without a release, sometimes 2 to 3, and
Wow.
that's on every social media platform. I think today I only posted twice, maybe 2 or 3 times. Yeah, about 2 or 3 times. Um, but yeah, like if it's a release, it's quite a bit. And then we're also obviously resharing,
Yeah.
people, reposting their stuff on their stories and everything, which is super helpful. So because almost every time that we drop a song, like our followers go up like at least like 50 to 100 after that drop. Depending on how many songs are dropped or where it's getting pushed to or how it's getting promoted. Um, yeah, and it helps a lot though, to have that content going everywhere, and promotion, because promotion. That's what helps your band grow. And I don't think a lot of local bands understand the importance of that, which kind of sucks because they're shooting themselves in the foot
Yeah.
with not doing it, to be honest. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Content is king right now. It's this day and age.
yeah,
It's
absolutely,
so different. I didn't know you guys are posting that much, man. That's awesome.
yeah, dude,
I
it's a
I'm
lot.
slacking. We're doing like one a day, 7 days a week. So I need to up our
We
game.
we post so much, man. And it's almost to the point where like I'm sure that it annoys some people, and some people probably mute like our stories and whatever because they're probably like, oh my god, them again, and they just like, because I
Now,
do
are
that
those
with people
actual
too.
reels or just stories a day?
They're reels.
So
So
one,
what I
two to
do is
three
I'll
reels a day, essentially.
technically usually
Wow.
either a picture, a meme, or a reel,
Yeah.
something to like keep the attention on this band, or a certain song, because I think today I reposted the most recent music video we did. That was the one with Brandon Watson. um and then I reposted the newest single for the lyric video that we have, and just put like the links to that and the stories and everything. But yeah, like usually what I do, and this is like my kind of cheat code to making so many reels a day. If you go in CapCut, I don't know if you don't pay for it, I don't know if you can do this, but if you pay for CapCut, if you go into the bottom and where it says templates, there's like memes that are just like ready to go. All you have to do is throw your videos behind it or your pictures, and it's literally just already there. Um,
I didn't know that.
that's the easiest way that I've found to do it because it's super quick. I mean, you can even go in the search bar and type in like announcement. You can type in, I don't know, you can type in a popular TV show that you care about that you think would be funny to have like some kind of like voice content with.
Hmm.
Yeah, super, super helpful.
Oh
So,
wow. Okay. Nice tidbits there. I love the
mhm.
tips. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what it's about. I mean, artists helping artists.
Yeah.
At least for those who care to listen, because I mean, I've told other people this before, and they're like, "This is what's wild to me." I've told people the same stuff before with like, especially with like paid promotion, and because paid promotion is incredibly important because you have to get your music out to relevant content creators that are big in your genre. Like, for us with deathcore, it used to be the Riff Ref, with Grant Randall.
Yeah.
I know he's having some problems. I haven't seen him post anything in a
Yeah. I
while,
haven't
but
seen him in a while.
yeah, but we became really good friends with him. That's kind of how we started shooting off because he promoted our song Sugar Water with Ryan Vale of Larcenia, and that took off like really quick with him. And then now we use like Slam Worldwide, Matt Bevan, we use Brandon Watson, like just trying different things. And that's what you have to do. You have to plug and play what works for you.
Yeah.
But all these people ask for money. I mean, that's part of their job. I mean,
Yep.
that's what they do. So like you have to pay them. And I would tell these people this, in our like local scene, like, yeah, like this is how we do it. Like we're paying, like it's like paying for a billboard for your
It's
band.
marketing. I mean, it's literally a marketing experience.
It's exactly, it's marketing. And they would tell us, well, that's cheating. And I'm like, that's not,
No.
how's that cheating? I was like, if you have a business and you want to grow your business, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You have to promote your business because you might have a great product. Like if you're a freaking cake, I don't know, bakery, and you make great cakes, no one's gonna know about it if you don't promote it.
Yep.
You
Exactly.
might get a tiny bit of people, but not a whole lot. And that's what you want, is a whole lot of people for your business. So that's
And
kind of how we
businesses,
view it. So,
generally, most businesses, depending on size and stuff, or even, for smaller, they have a marketing budget. Like you said, to
yeah.
get out there, to commercial, to like get
Yep.
people to know about their products, about their
Yep.
stores, about whatever they do, their services.
Yep. And for every single drop, we always discuss like, what are we doing for this? Like, are we doing we're doing like videos? Like, are we paying for a video? Are we doing a music video? We're doing a lyric video? Are we doing, all that stuff? And then we go into, well, who are we promoting it with this time? Do how much money do we have to do this, and all the other stuff. And then if we don't have all the money in the budget, but we feel firmly that the song will do well with promotion, we'll all pitch in as a band on whatever the promotion is. And it usually seems to work out because when you have everybody in your band pitching in,
It's not
it's
bad.
not that heavy of a
Yeah.
lift. But especially because we're all adults, we all have jobs, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's face it, we're gonna make dozens of dollars in deathcore. Like, it's just
Yeah.
it's not a high paying genre most of the time, but you know, it could be
You never know.
eventually.
Yeah. You never know.
You know,
Never say never.
you never know. That's
Um,
true.
you kind of talked about being like the management, like the business side of the band. There's always that one, like whether they want to be it or not, but there's the one that I guess has the knack and can like for on his part, just get stuff done. Like they're the one that
Mhm.
like, all right, we know this is gonna get handled. Emails are gonna be sent. Stuff's gonna be contacted. Stuff's gonna be lined up, and it's always the one that everyone will be like, hey, what are we doing for XYZ? And then it's like, okay, this is what we have. Here's this. I'm the
So
one. I fall into that category for our band, so I know
okay,
you're the same way. Where it's like my guitar player will text me and be like, "Hey, we're doing this Saturday. What's the detail? Like, what's up?" I'm like, all right, here you go.
bro, that sounds a lot like me and my guitarist dynamic because so here's what actually happens. Like I handle a lot of it, but my guitarist is the pusher in the band. So like if we did not have him, things would move a lot slower.
That's
He
another
he
important member or part, not like
it,
member per se, but
exactly.
like a piece of a band is
Yes.
the one that's like
Hey,
constantly
we got to. Yep.
wanting to get stuff done.
Constantly wanting to get stuff done, and I'm like that too. But I mean, there's life, and
Yeah,
he's got a life too, obviously, and he has things that are priorities. But he and I both make this band a priority, like one of our priorities. But he is constantly, him and I are constantly talking about this band. There hasn't been a day that's gone by since him and I have been in this band that we don't chat about it in some respect. It's usually my debrief with him is every morning when I'm driving to work and every morning when I'm driving home from work. Like we talk on the phone to catch up and see like what are we doing? How's this gonna go? And like we'll also just bullshit about
yeah,
whatever. Um, but he's our pusher. He's the one
nice.
that's like, hey, we got to get this done. And I'm like, yep, you're right. We got to get this done. And then because what seems to be is like if he says, hey, we need to get this done, they're everyone else in the band's kind of like, eh, like, but then he'll come to me. He's like, "Hey, you need to tell them to get this done." And I'll be like, "Hey, we need to get this done." And then they're like, "Okay." It's like, why do I have to say it, dude? Just like,
You have
just
to
do
be.
it. And
You
it's
essentially you're the dad.
yeah, no, but it's funny because I mean, I am the one who started the band. Originally, this is supposed to be my solo project, right? It was just gonna be a studio thing, and honestly, it was supposed to be a punk project at first.
Okay.
And as I continued on with it, I was like, nah, I like deathcore way too much. I'm just gonna start doing deathcore again, and I just started making it heavier and heavier. And then I got my guitarist now, and it was kind of game over there because he's a phenomenal writer. Because he's our chief songwriter, he writes everything, um, and I just yell over it. So, you know, but yeah, man, he's a solid dude. He's a good friend. He's a good pusher. He gets shit done. That's I mean, it he's probably, in my opinion, the most important member of the band. If I had to be honest about who does the most um, to get us to where we need to be, it's him. However, I'm the one that's usually like going and doing it, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I would say I'm probably the pusher too, just because I'm usually like my guitar players are really bad about like the one writes a lot. He's like kind of like your guitar player, like he's our main
Mm.
writer. Like when it comes to recording, coming with stuff, the other guitar player will bring ideas, but the other one's like the one who really is like, hey, I have this huge section already. Like here you go. And we're
Yeah.
like, sweet, let's build off that. As far as the back end stuff, it's me. And every now and then he'll kind of be like that mosquito. Like I'll be having stuff. He's like, hey, what's going on with this? All right, this is on
Mm.
whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay, cool. And then he'll like go leave me
Yep.
alone. But like,
Yep.
I'm the one that kind of wrangles them in a lot. I'm like, all
Oh
right,
yeah.
fellas,
That's yeah.
this needs to be done. Like, let's get this done. And
Mm.
they're like, okay.
Yep. That's
But
that's Todd.
yeah.
Todd's the one he's the wrangler. Now here's the thing though too, that like I have to wrangle Todd because
Does he get
Todd
distracted
is
easy?
not distracted. He gets like cart before the horse. So he
Oh, okay.
wants to do things too fast, too quick sometimes. And sometimes I have to get him to pump the brakes. He
Gotcha.
means well and he just wants to get out there and play. Um and that's what we all want too. It's just it has to like be in the correct timing. Like right now we are, like I said, like we have two new members. The bass guitarist is all but caught up on everything that needs to be caught up, but the drummer needs to get to where he needs to be at to actually play a set, which the last time that we all chatted on the phone, because we do like a weekly debrief call, just to get everybody on the same page, because we all live like, besides myself and Todd, The other two members live like 4 and 5 hours away. So like our physical practices only take place like once every 4 to 6 weeks, which is pretty detrimental to a band. I mean, it's hard,
Yeah.
right? But the way that we've decided is like, okay, everybody has, the songs that they can practice with and over. And we try and make tracks where it's like, if you're the bassist, there's, we'll give you every single song without the bass tracks. That way you can practice along with it. And the same thing for the drummer and myself and for the guitarist. That way everybody can practice on their own. It's all big boy rules. It's on your own time. But that's the understanding, is it's big boy rules. Like, you have to practice on your own. That's the only way this works. Um, and so far it has proven to work. The last practice we had, it went really, really well. And the next practice we have, which is coming up in October, that should be a pretty good one too, because I know that Malachi, our drummer, has knocked out just about every song at this point. He probably has by this point, honestly. But yeah, so super pumped about that and getting to jam with those guys again. And that's the other thing too, is when we get together, it's like 8 hour, 9 hour days, because we only have one day out of every 4 to 6 weeks of
Yeah.
practice. So we're trying to make it worth it.
Yeah. Those are some
But
rough
yeah,
days.
it's
That's
fun.
brutal.
Oh yeah, like for screaming for
Oh
like.
yeah.
Now, granted, I'm not screaming for like 8 to 9 hours. Realistically, we get like 5, maybe 6 hours of intense practice, but that's still a long time to be doing fucking extreme vocals.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's where it's like, I got to be careful, And sometimes, like, when we do that, I'll be like, hey, like, I'm spent. Like, I don't want to fuck my vocals up. Like, we're good. Like, we've already practiced for 5, 6 hours. We're good,
Yeah.
So,
So before we get into vocals, where did the band name come from?
okay, yeah. So,
Gotta know.
no, yeah, it's a common question. Almost every time I've done an interview. So, I am Mook. So the word Mook, it's a derogatory term, which means idiot. I've heard it used it's used a lot in like Italian American families. At least it was in my Italian American family. And my dad, when I was a kid growing up, I heard it here and there. It wasn't like this super, like, he didn't say it all the time, but I remember hearing it often enough where like the word stuck with me, and I thought it was a funny sounding word. And when I was trying to make this project, I was going to make it a punk project. So I was just trying to make it sound like goofy. Like, punk names they're fucking weird,
Yeah.
And so are deathcore names, to be fair. But like, I was trying to make it sound like something about like an idiot, right? And I was like, well, there's that fucking dude from Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot, I am Groot. And I was like, oh, that sounds stupid. It sounds like an idiot. I was like, I am Mook. I was like, let's try that. And I was like, and it's kind of stuck. And then, it's kind of, it's a small little like inside joke. My dad's passed away. He's the one that when he passed away, he helped me, fund the studio that I now have. The studio name is named after another thing that he said. My dad had no shortage of slogans, sayings, whatever. Very, just think of like your typical, like stereotypical Italian American guy. That was my dad. So, but yeah, he would call me if I did something stupid. He'd call me a mook. He'd be like, "Get over here, you stupid mook," or like, "What are you effing mook? What are you doing?" Like that. That was enough to be like, okay, like that's think it's a funny word. So, but yeah, that's where it came from, and it's just kind of
Nice.
stuck. So,
I like it. I like the origin of that. That's really sick. That's really, really cool.
yeah.
Okay. So we usually do this to start, but we completely derailed. And part of it's my fault
I
because
told
I
you, man.
couldn't
No, you're good.
couldn't do your name for some reason to start this. And
Dude, I
we're
told
leaving
you,
it
I'm a
in because I
yapper,
mean I'm just
man.
blundering, so I apologize. Just
No,
I'm human.
you're absolutely fine, man. I'm a yapper. I will talk your ear
Dude,
off.
no.
You give me
Yeah.
give me a platform, and I'll talk.
That's what this is for. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
What I like to do to kind of get everything going, I just want you to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, as you stated, my name is Tom Verbos. I am originally from Pennsylvania, a town called Duncannon, Pennsylvania, which nobody's probably going to know where that is. However, if you do know where that is, or even I guess if you don't know where that is, it's about like 20 minutes away from Harrisburg, the capital, and grew up there. what's funny is I used to hate deathcore music. I really disliked it. The band I was in high school was kind of like a dad rock band, like think like Breaking Benjamin kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what we played. And the vocalist at the time, he really wanted to branch into like the hardcore music scene. And now me and the other guitarists, because at the time I didn't do vocals. I was very embarrassed of my voice. I'd never even tried it. I didn't know how to scream yet. I just played guitar. And we were both like, no, we don't want to do that. And we got outvoted. So we switched over to doing hardcore music. And once we started playing those shows and I, saw the energy and it was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I love this shit. That's when I was like, all right, I love this. I was like 17, I think, when that happened. And going to a place called the Championship in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. That's where we used to play a lot as kids. Used to play a lot with Texas in July there, August Burns Red, because those guys were like up and coming at the time. August Burns Red was a lot bigger. I think they were signed to CI Records at the time. And then we were trying to get signed to CI, and that never happened. We are just a bunch of dumb kids. But um, yeah, and then I remember driving around in my car trying to figure out how to do, extreme vocals, how to scream, and I couldn't get it. And at the time, I still didn't really care about deathcore that much. I mean, there were some bands I liked, like I liked Chelsea Grin, I liked Suicide Silence and Whitechapel, Oceano, but I wasn't like super into the scene like my buddies were. I was more of like the metalcore kind of scene, a little bit softer, not like soft, but a little bit softer. And I learned how to scream in my car driving home from the mall at 16 years old, I think. I don't know. I think it was 16, maybe 17. I don't know, because the origin's a little blurry. Because I mean, it was a while ago. I know that I was a teenager and I was driving home from the mall and I was trying to scream along to this song called Whiskey Breath by a band called Once Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it and I was like, oh my God, like I was like super excited. And it wasn't great, but I got it and I was like, it didn't hurt for once. And I mean, I had been trying to do this for at least like a year already. So it was rough. But yeah, I think I drove around in my car for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, just trying to perfect it, trying to make sure that I didn't lose it because I was like, I don't want to forget how to do this. And kind of went from there. And then I went for years without being in a band because I joined the Marine Corps, which is how I ended up in North Carolina in Jacksonville. Um, did 5 years in that, still wasn't in a band. Got out of the Marine Corps, joined the National Guard just to like, I needed healthcare. So I was like, I'm going to do something, and then found the job I have now. Um, and then I found a band and joined them, but they didn't really do anything. And I got kind of bored, and that's why I ended up doing the studio project. And that's how this took off.
Okay.
Like that's the short origin story of how this all started and how I got started on vocals, really. But I've only been in two bands. Well, two bands as a vocalist ever. Um, Played multiple shows live doing it though. Love it. It's a great time. It's fun. So, but yeah, that's the short story.
Nice. Very nice. Dude, so how long have you been doing vocals total now? If you started when you were
Oh man.
16.
So if it was 16 or 17, it had to have been like either sophomore or junior year in high school. So I mean, I'm 33 now. Um,
It's around rough about
I don't
15,
know.
16 years. 16 or
Yeah,
17.
and that's you got to think too. Like there were years where I didn't do it
Yeah.
for years, where I just didn't practice it. I mean, I never lost how to like do it. Like I never forgot how to do it, which is how I ended up doing vocals eventually. One of the things that I would do too before I was in a band is I would go to karaoke, and I would just like blow people because I can sing too. I like to
I've seen
sing.
your videos.
People,
I saw the videos where
yeah,
you were singing. I was like, okay, got some
yeah.
pipes on him.
Some people say I can sing pretty good. I mean, my wife loves when I sing. She's not a huge fan of metal. I mean, she's okay with it,
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I used to go to the karaoke bars and I would sing like country music, like I'd do Tyler Childers, and then I'd switch over to like Psychosocial with Slipknot and scream that, and they were like, "What the fuck?" Like, and it was fun to see like the dynamic of the crowd shift because they were like, "Oh my god, how do you do that?" And it's the same questions. How do you do that? How does it not hurt your throat? How can I do that? And I'm like, drinking at a bar, like trying to explain it. Like I'm also drunk at this point, and
Yeah.
I'm like trying to explain to them like how to scream,
Don't you
like,
love
oh,
the
you do
vocal
this.
questions from those that are not
Oh
into
my God.
metal?
Oh dude, it's so fun. And
They're just like,
it
you're just
is really,
yelling, right? You just yell. I'm like, you can yell, but you're not gonna go very long if you just are
yeah.
yelling. Like there's
Yeah.
technique
Well,
and
I mean, speaking of my dad, like he liked my singing voice. He hated the screaming stuff. And, I go over to his house when he was still living. He'd be like, that effing, bull crap that you do with your, band and whatever. And he's like, that no talent, whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, can you do it, Dad? And he would like try and he'd start coughing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's so easy, isn't it? It's like messing with him. But yeah, it is funny though, because I mean, I used to have the same mindset, man. I used to think that deathcore was no talent. I was like, it's just yelling, it's so stupid, like, and then I just kind of fell in love with it. So, but yeah,
you
it's
kind of mentioned like fall in love with the energy. That's to me that was like one of the
mhm.
big things. I'll never forget going to like I cannot remember all the bands, but going to a show in Nashville with some friends. They're like, let's go to this metal show. I was like, sick, yeah, I've listened to metal, Never like been to like an underground scene show, and just being there, I was like, this is insane. This is like nothing, Like I've been to
Yep,
concerts, I've been to stuff, but it's just a different like raw emotion and energy in the building,
yep,
and it's infectious. Like there's nothing like
yep.
it.
I think my first exposure to that kind of music, besides like, my buddies wanting me to get into it and stuff, like going to a show. Because the first time I went to a show, we didn't play. It was like going to a show. Like my buddies were like, "Come on, we're gonna go," and they were all about getting in the pit and stuff. And at this point, I wasn't doing that. I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
like into that. I mean, now I'm like, I'm quote unquote pit retired, but it's like we'll go to shows, me and my wife, and I'll be like, look, and I'm like, I want to go. She's like, go. And then I get in the pit, and then I'm like, cause I'm old, man. And after I get like in there once, I'm like, fuck, my back,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
everything hurts. And you're
Yeah.
like, God dang it, all right, going back into retirement. And it's just like,
I'm just gonna watch from
but
the side now.
yeah, just gonna watch from the sidelines now. Y'all young bucks you can do your thing. But yeah, man. I think the first show I think that I saw was an Attack show at that place called the Championship I was telling you about, and I remember being like, wow, this is crazy. And it was Attack, like it wasn't even like deathcore. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone knows who Attack is, the crabcore shit and everything, but it was wild. Like it was super heavy for the times, at least for me, as a kid. And then it just got heavier and heavier. My taste got heavier and heavier, and
It's
like now I'm listening to full
gateway bands
fledged.
that
Yeah,
lead you to the heavy stuff.
exactly. Exactly. And like it was the taste that led me to like, now I'm listening to like just full fledged deathcore, slamcore, slam, just fucking nasty shit
Yeah.
where it's like, what the fuck is he saying? Ah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Who cares? You
Yeah.
know?
You go down the rabbit hole
But
easily. Like
oh yeah, for
it
sure.
spirals. But yeah, it's the energy, man. It's unlike anything. Like you
Yeah.
said, I went and watched the show and I was just oblivious to it all, but I was just like, wow, okay. And then that kind
Yeah.
of like started that bug, and then next thing you know, I'm in a band, and then I'm like, all right, here we're playing shows, and
Yeah.
it was next level when I'm on stage watching that energy. Like it's
Oh yeah.
some
It's
completely
crazy,
different.
dude. And like as a vocalist, when you see people like going crazy for your music, even just
Yes,
as a musician in general, not just as a vocalist, but seeing people going crazy for your music, seeing people knowing the lyrics
is
to your
wild.
deathcore songs is wild because like and I know that like deathcore is hard to
Yeah,
understand. So like they had to take the time to do their homework to learn the lyrics so that they could fucking do a mic grab or chant the shit or
yep.
whatever the fuck. And that means so fucking much to me as a vocalist. That makes me so freaking happy. If someone wants to snatch the mic and they fucking kill it, I'm like, oh my god, my fucking heart. This is
Yeah,
great.
dude,
It makes you feel good. So
absolutely.
yeah,
Okay, so you learn to do vocals by just riding around in your car, screaming.
yep, that's right.
I feel like that's probably a common. It's like that bedroom pissing off the parents,
Mhm. Yep. I mean, that
or
happened
showering.
too.
Like I feel like those are the three where
Yep.
everybody kind of learns like
Well,
what to
the
do.
shower, I never really did it in the shower, but I understand that
I
the
guess it's just the
mindset, at least,
acoustics of the shower, like kind of like a car. Like
well, the shower is kind of even now, like as an actual, a vocalist that kind of sort of knows what he's doing at this point. The shower's nice because the steam
yeah,
helps kind of like it makes your vocal cords feel okay, even
Mhm.
if you're like kind of fucking up a little bit, because there's the moisture in the air from the steam that kind of helps you. And in the car, it's more of like the reason why I do it in the car is because like I'm not feeling embarrassed. Like nobody's around. I'm just like the only person who can hear me is me, right?
yeah,
And I like I said, I used to be super embarrassed in my voice, and I didn't sing or scream in front of anybody. Um, I would do it in the house, and my mom has heard me do it when I was a kid, and she didn't care for it. She was supportive, but she didn't like care for that kind of music either. Most parents don't,
yeah.
I mean, it's like not a thing that parents are like, "Yay, my kid's screaming." It's like doesn't matter. But
So that one day coming back from mall, that was your aha moment then, correct? Like that was when it kind of
yep,
all clicked after a year. You kind of talked about you've
yep,
been trying for like a year to learn.
hmm
Going back, 15, 16 years, like you said, there was not the wealth of knowledge we have now. Like
no,
kids and vocalists learning now, there are so many tools at your disposal to teach you
dude,
how to do things, how to learn how to do things. Back then, not dating us, but I'm in the same boat as you. It's like, I want to know how to do this. I want to know how to do this where I don't lose my voice and it doesn't hurt. You just kind
yep,
of had to try until you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
and
that works. Let
yeah,
me build off that.
yeah, and it was a struggle. I remember like because YouTube, like we're like, how old are you? I'm imagining you're probably about my age,
A little
or at
older, a
least
little older. I'm an old man.
little older.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pit
So,
retired
but
too.
but
I'm old.
okay. Yeah, yeah. But like that so like that being said, so like you understand like the YouTube generation,
Yes.
right? Like that's kind of like MySpace and like
Yep. Yep.
YouTube because like that was my generation too. And you know, I remember taking the YouTube trying to find tutorials on how to scream and seeing all these, it was a bunch of scene kids. I
Yeah.
mean, it was constantly flooded with scene kids and they would always say like clench your throat, take a deep breath and push with your diaphragm. And I'm like, okay, well, like, yeah, I'm doing that, but I'm not like I'm just hurting myself. Like it's not working, right? And it's funny because there's so much that goes into it. And what's crazy is like when someone asks me how to do it too, it is really hard to explain
Yeah.
how you do it because it is a shift in your vocal cords when you I mean obviously I'm talking right now and I don't sound like menacing. It's
Yeah.
just like I sound like a normal dude. And there's this huge shift in like your vocal folds and everything and obviously there's exhales and inhales and like there's different techniques and tunnel throat and what's funny is like you said about tutorials and having like a wealth of knowledge on it nowadays like I remember this was only like I want to say three years ago. I had no clue how to do tunnel throat vocals. I wanted to so bad. I remember hearing Blasphemian, I think it was, by Infant Annihilator. And I was like, man, I want to do vocals like Dickie Allen. That sounds fucking nasty. And I was trying to find everywhere like how to do it. And it was on TikTok. It was some chick. I don't remember what her name was. Some metal vocalist girl. And she was like, yeah, just curl your tongue like that. If you have the scream down, just curl your tongue. I'm like, no way, it's that easy. And I'm in my car again. I'm just driving, and I tried it, and it was immediate. I got the sound. I'm like, motherfucker, I've been trying for months trying to do it, and it was just this one girl that was just like, yeah, just curl your tongue. And I was like, oh my god, that's the fucking easiest thing ever. I wish I'd have known this. But yeah, it's crazy. It's all about mouth shape
Tongue,
and
yeah, mouth
yeah,
shape, tongue placement, all that goes a long way to
yep,
like getting the distinct sounds and the different kinds of sounds. It's
yep,
wild.
yep.
Um,
It's like once you have the basic scream down, it's all mouth shape and tongue
yeah.
tongue position. Like that's literally all it is. So it's crazy.
If you guys ever watch
So
like Will from Morning Shore, like watch his tongue when he's doing the different things live, like how he like he'll roll his tongue or he'll do different things, like do different stuff and to get the different
yeah,
sounds and yeah.
yeah, it's nuts. Like the
Oh,
way that it's and then they had that whole thing where they put the camera down his
yeah.
throat, and and everybody who's a deathcore vocalist, the vocal folds almost look very similar when they're doing their stuff. It's literally mouth shape, and like something that you have to understand too. And this took me a while to get as a vocalist. Like you're gonna have vocalists that you really want to sound like. You might not ever be able to sound like them because everybody's screams are gonna sound different because you are a different person. And it's coming to terms with that and understanding that you still have something to offer to this genre if you're good, because obviously there has to be some level of like talent and good sound and all the other stuff. Um, but you might not sound like them, and that's okay. You have your own unique sound, and that's honestly what people want, because they don't want cookie cutter sounding deathcore. I know
100%.
you hear it nowadays. So many people that are like, "Oh, I'm so tired of these vocal Olympics. I'm so tired of, the symphonic stuff." And I'm like, I agree on a lot of that. I mean, I'm very much like, let's just get back to MySpace deathcore, man. Like, I want to hear fucking dodgeball sounding snares. I want to hear like just fucking crazy blast beats, very minimal fucking, you know, um, samples. And if there are samples, just like something fucking quick and witty from like a movie or some bullshit. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. Like that's what this band I Am Mook is trying to do. So, and I love that kind of shit. And I love seeing bands starting to try and do that MySpace deathcore revival shit, because that's what I love. So,
Deathcore's on the
but
upswing, man. It's definitely a revival going. I'm glad
yeah,
what something you said is something that gets preached on the show religiously. But finding your own voice, being unique, not trying to like it's
yeah,
okay to like take influences, like
yeah, absolutely.
people that you're like, oh, he's so sick, I love what he does. That is completely
Yep.
fine, and but you're not gonna be the next Phil Bozeman. I mean,
Nope.
there is a Phil.
You
You're
probably won't.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're not gonna be
exactly.
him. You're
Yeah.
not gonna be Mitch. You're not gonna be Will. You can take
Yep.
influences from them. Be you. Be the first you.
Yep.
Stand out. You can take those influences, roll it up into what you do, and just use your voice. Get you like you said, the unique. People want to hear the unique, like you. That's
Yeah.
not the greatest explanation, but
No, you're
it's
absolutely right. And it's funny because like what we've been doing is like, I know when we first started out, we were like very like we didn't know what our sound was. And I mean, you can listen to the old stuff that we have is on Bandcamp. That's the only place you can find it now, because we have everything we've ever done on Bandcamp. And it's night and day sounding from what we sound now, because we're at a place right now where this is what I've wanted to sound like from the beginning. But at the time when we first started our first album that we put out, that was me writing guitar parts, not Todd. um because I was, again, it was a solo project, so like I had already had all these songs written, and that's what we first put out, and it sounds way different than what we have now. And I fucking love where we are now. And I know it's just going to progressively get heavier, but as far as vocals go, even my vocals have changed, and we've only been a band since June 7th of 2024, so a little bit over a year. And I mean, we're just, I don't know, we're still doing really well, which is great, but like in a little bit over a year, our sound has changed so fucking much. And vocally, I've gained a lot of like knowledge on a bunch of different stuff from just recording in the studio alone. Um, I know. I know before we like started recording and stuff, I told you that I was going to talk about the new single and stuff eventually that's coming out. But there's a part in that new single where I do this vocal. It's like right as the song starts, and it is a vocal that I only recently discovered that I could do, like only like within like the past like maybe 3 4 months. So like that's what I mean. Like I'm always like finding new stuff, and like trying new things, because like I wanted to do the whole like gator roll thing that Alex
yeah,
Terrible does, and I did that in the Spilt Milk song that we have out, and and obviously it doesn't sound like Alex Terrible, but it's like it's my version of it, and like that's again, like you have to let go of thinking you're gonna sound like these other
yeah,
people, because you're not gonna sound like them. You probably won't, right?
yeah.
So,
And even
but
if you do, like, you don't want to be. Phil is Phil for a reason. Like
yeah,
you don't want to be because then people just be like, well, yeah, it sounds good, but it sounds like Phil.
Yeah,
You want people to be like,
for
it sounds
sure.
like Tom from I Am Mook. You know, like that's
Right.
essentially what you want to go for. And the quicker that you can like grasp that concept, the better you'll be in the long
Yep.
haul.
Exactly.
But
Exactly,
definitely take
man.
influences, like you said, from Alex Terrible, the Gator Roll. Like, try things, learn things, add them
Yeah.
to your arsenal. There's nothing wrong with adding new tips and tricks to your arsenal at all times and expanding what you
Yeah.
can do.
I know that my guitarist Todd is like super adamant about me trying to do shotgun vocals, and I've never tried shotgun vocals. It's so fast, man. Like Hunt the Dinosaur does it so well, and I'm like, dude, I don't think I can do that. It's like I'm gonna get winded, especially if I have to do it live.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Like, because I like to move enough on stage where like I'm not boring and super stationary. But if I'm doing shit like that and I'm moving around on stage, fuck, dude, that's not happening. Like,
This is a good segue. I needed to ask, what is harder, being a vocalist or being a frontman? Because there is a difference. Kind of like you said, you
yeah,
kind of just said it already. Like, not being
yeah,
boring, and this is not like shots at anybody, but we've all seen vocalists that can do vocal Olympics. They can do everything. You know, they sound amazing,
yeah,
but they don't necessarily have that commanding presence that keeps like a
yeah,
crowd engaged. And then there's others that
yeah,
may have not, maybe they don't have the vocal arsenal to do a
right,
lot or a technique, but they can keep a crowd going. You know, like,
yeah.
so which do you think's
I
harder?
mean, to me, it's finding that balance. Every time that we've played live, I've noticed, and after our first show as I Am Mook, I remember telling the band, I'm like, yeah, I'm not moving that much anymore. I was like, I'm gonna move, but not like I did just now. Because what started happening was because I was moving so much and being so energetic, jumping, fucking doing like, the stomps like crazy, like on everything, fucking headbanging, getting in the pits with everybody, all that shit. Cause I have a wireless mic just so I can get in the pit with people.
Oh my gosh.
And that, cause that's what I like to do. I still do that. Like, I mean, I'm 33. I'll still get in the pit with people while I'm playing live. Cause I just fucking, it gets people moving. Cause if you're not moving, I will make you move. So,
Hey, that
um,
works.
that's how I view it. And it's getting people excited about just coming to a fucking badass deathcore show, dude. And you want to have enough of a commanding presence that you're not boring on stage. Like you have to move. Like you don't have to like jump up and down and be crazy all the time, but that you have to accent certain parts. That's what
Yeah.
you should be striving to do. The highlights or the hooks of the song, you should look menacing on stage. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Um and then as far as like, finding the balance between sounding good and looking good, I will always sacrifice looking good for sounding good. I would much rather my vocals not sound like shit than fucking look like a fucking superstar on stage. Because like I don't want to put on a bad show, but I also don't want to sound like garbage.
Yeah.
Like I'd much rather sound good.
You got to find
And
a
that's
happy
when I
place,
told
especially if you're moving a lot,
right.
because breath, you get
Yep.
out of breath.
Yep.
And when you're screaming, you exhale like a ton of air.
Yeah.
So it's,
Oh yeah. So fucking much.
yeah,
And you're covered and pouring in sweat. Like when
dude,
you're
it's
done, you're like
insane.
you are fucking nasty.
Yes.
So but yeah, man, it's just finding that balance. And you want to be menacing, you want to be energetic, but you also want to sound good. And it's knowing when you have to know your own limits because everybody's different. Like, I'm a big boy. Like I weigh like 210, 215. I go to the gym. Like I don't do a lot of cardio. I just lift weights. So that's another thing too, is like, and I'll be honest, when I was doing cardio, my vocals were a little better, because I wasn't getting winded as much because I already had the cardiovascular endurance.
Yeah.
And that is helpful. So like if you are a vocalist, something that is helpful is if you work out, like 100%, especially your core and cardio and stuff like that. That helps being a vocalist a lot.
Yeah. I
So
100% agree with that. I going to the gym, I noticed a difference too. Just like
yeah,
if you treat your body well and you're taking care of your body and you're working
yep,
out, and like you said, the
yep,
cardio is a big thing because you're breathing a lot. There's a lot of breath
yeah,
support. And if your lungs are healthy
yep,
and strong and going, your heart and everything,
yep,
like it makes a big
yep,
difference. Makes a big
Yeah,
difference.
it makes a huge difference. And that's yeah, that's my best advice for that. Like you just got to find the medium, and you have to know too when to stop. Like
Yeah.
what I mean by that is like on stage, if you're moving too much and you can feel yourself getting winded, like it doesn't matter if the crowd's feeling it. Like they'll still feel it if you're sounding good. Like
Yeah.
you can pause for a minute to take a fucking breather and still scream,
Yeah.
and still sound good. So like that's you have to know your limits.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. 100%.
and know when to stop. So, but yeah.
Okay, so learning in your car and
Hmm.
everything, what were some early mistakes you made during that year
Oh
beforehand?
God. Yeah, man. I mean, there was a lot. I remember like, and I've told people this story before, and I'm sure like so many people have similar stories where like they'd lose. Like for me, I lost my voice sometimes for like a day, 2 days. I think the longest was like a week because I really fucked up my vocal cords. Um, because it's a different. People talk about like your false chords and your true chords. Like they are different vocal folds, and if you're using your true vocal cords to try and generate that kind of sound and they're slamming together and it's going to feel like, to me, what I call it, I don't know if there's an actual term for it. I call it hot throat, because it feels like your throat's on fire, like almost if you have like a
Okay.
sore throat or strep
Yeah,
throat.
yeah.
And if you do it too bad, if you do it too much or you're straining your throat too much and you get that feeling where it's like just really really tense and hot, like a lot of heat, and it feels fuzzy, or like I don't know how to explain it, like you
Yeah.
swallowed fucking insulation or something, like I don't know, scratchy, it doesn't feel good. So
Solid insulation.
that's when, yeah, that's when all right, I think I fucked my vocals up and I was going too hard in the paint. I didn't pace myself. And that's another thing too, is like I've learned that before every practice and before every show you have to warm up, because I didn't used to. I just jump right into it, and you can't expect to jump right into doing something like that just fresh without fucking warming up, because it's not going to end well. I've tried that for shows and stuff too, where I'm just like, fucking, I don't have time to warm up. All right, well, now every time, I don't care if I look stupid or silly. Like I'll go to the green room, I'll go like out back, I'll like go, in my car, just something. I have to do some kind of vocal warm up. You know
Yeah.
at least for 10 minutes. So,
I'm the same way. I have to do a warm up. It's just,
yeah,
I mean, I don't think it's going to end well if I don't. That's just kind of how I am.
yeah,
It's funny though, like something I've noticed doing this show is more of the older school vocalists are kind of like, I have one specifically whenever like they got the questions, he was just like, I'm gonna be honest, I have no answer for like a majority of this because I just would go up and yell every night. But they played like 200
yeah.
plus nights a year. And I was
So
like,
he
well,
was
you were doing
already,
something right, whether you knew it or not, because clearly you
yeah.
couldn't do that. But some
Well,
people just
you
like,
think about it.
yeah, it's like muscle
Well, you
memory, I
think about
guess.
it too. Like, well, somebody doing like shows that many times in a row, their vocals are probably warm
Yeah.
because like they've done it so much, like they're already ready to go. But if you're like the average Joe, like myself, that's just like doing this, maybe we'll do a show here, a show there, a little tour, a fucking, a festival, whatever. Like you're not doing it like you're not doing these
Yeah.
massive tours.
And a lot of them
If you are,
they'll do like say they're off like you are right now and like
yeah,
you're not doing anything. They'll do little things here and there to kind of like warm their throat,
yeah,
if you will. But like if
yeah,
they're on tour, they'll say like the first week is a little rough.
yeah,
Like especially if they don't have like a routine to like kind of get their voice
for
going,
sure,
right? But after
for
that,
sure.
it's essentially like a running car. Like they're off and running. Like they
Yeah,
said, the first few
yeah,
shows will be a little rough. First one's usually good. Second, third, voice is a little strained, a little
yeah,
rough, and then after that, it's smooth.
yeah.
Barring
And
getting sick
that's
or something crazy.
right. And that's how it's usually is. It's funny you say about getting sick. There have been the, it was funny. It was a great show that we played, but like I had strep. I had strep throat, and I remember like saying, because it was a good show. I think it was the show that, this is the old band I was in, but we played with Traders and Upon a Burning Body, and I was like, I'm not missing that show. I was like, I'm gonna play that show. I don't give a shit. I'll fuck up my vocals for that. I don't care. So I went on stage and I had this fucking throat number like
Yeah,
spray from like CVS pharmacy that I
yeah,
bought. tastes like cherry, tastes like ass, to
It's
be honest.
awful.
But like,
It's so
yeah,
bad.
but I just like after every song, I was up there going, all right, next song,
Just
like
pushing through.
every song, just to numb it, so I couldn't like feel my fucking throat getting destroyed, and it did. It got destroyed
I'm
pretty
sure the
bad.
next day
So,
was awful.
oh yeah, it was fucking terrible, but we got through it. So, fucking shitty though.
So,
So,
speaking of routines and stuff, you already mentioned it. What is your routine for getting ready? And does it change if you're going to go, if you're doing multiple shows in a row, like a tour, like you said, like a weekend run or whatever, if it's just a one off, if you're going to the studio, or even if you're sick? Do you alter your routine and what you're doing to get your voice ready?
um, not. I don't think I really alter it. I've found what kind of works. What I have found too, like as far as things that I try and avoid before a show is like a heavy meal. Like I don't eat a lot before a
Yes.
show or even before practice. Like if I do eat something, it's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like I'm not even joking. It's like that or like some like a toast or some shit. Like it's just enough that like my stomach's not eating itself, but it's like, I'm not gonna force so much that I'm gonna fucking puke on stage or like feel like I'm, up chucking shit into my throat, You don't want that. But what I do is before I go to the show or before I go to practice or whatever, I try to have a nice warm thermos of like it's just honey and water. I don't put tea in it because I don't want tea. I want water and I want honey. So it's basically sugar water, but it's got honey in it. And because honey is like the thought is that it coats your throat,
Yeah.
all that stuff, and I'm sure you know all this, and like, and it does, it helps your throat, and it helps keep your throat moist, and like you don't like, you don't fuck it up as easily. And then obviously the night before and the day of, water, 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 hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. You have to drink fucking water because if your tongue and your vocal cords get dry, you're not making the sounds. That's
Yeah.
not going to happen. And you're going to strain your vocals trying to fucking make those sounds because there's no moisture. And you're gonna fucking eat through your moisture real fast already because you're expelling so much air, so it dries your throat and your tongue out so much. So that water, honey, and then obviously like I don't smoke heavily or anything. Like I smoke cigarettes socially. So like it's hard for me when I go to a show and I see dudes like lighting up a cigarette. I'm like, oh man, I want to share a cigarette with them and chat and hang out. But I don't do it until we're done with the show because cigarettes have a tendency. I've learned my lesson because I've tried this multiple times. Where like I'll smoke a cigarette with a friend before I go on, and then my fucking tongue, it's usually my tongue, is so fucking dry from the cigarette, and it fucks up my set. Like I don't sound as good as I could. And it pisses you off. You're like, oh fuck, like that could have gone a lot better. So I've learned not to do that. If I do have a drink, it's usually one beer. I won't drink anything past one because I don't want to. One, you don't want to get shitty. I don't drink. Like I rarely drink, and I'm rarely getting drunk. That's not a thing that I do, at least not anymore. And having like a socially thing is fine, but like during a show, one beer, no cigarettes before it, honey, honey and water, and then freaking tons of water before. And then the warm up specifically. Have you ever heard of the Zena screaming,
Yep.
that chick?
I wanted to
Okay.
bring that up. That was kind of my aha
Yeah.
moment was watching that the
Yeah,
first time.
she's awesome. I love her. So I uh I haven't watched her full I have her DVD. I haven't watched it really. I have the warm up
Yeah.
CD
The Z's
that
and all that stuff.
yes,
Yes.
and I
Yep. I
use
use
I
those
use it.
as well.
Yeah, I use it in my car. Now I know it enough that I don't have to put it in the CD. I just do it. But I'll do a lot of those vocal warm ups, and then usually what I do to warm up to get my vocals really warm is I'll do two things. I'll do all that shit, the Z's and all
Yeah.
that stuff that you're saying. But then I also do one song. It has to be an easy song because I'm not trying to strain my throat. I'm just trying to get it warmed up. My go-to song, my go-to song that I usually sing before every show is Travis Tritt's "It's a Great Day to Be Alive," that fucking country song. because it's super easy for me to sing, and I'm just like, I'll sing that because it gets my vocals warm, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm good to go. And if it's not that, it's some kind of, it's usually a country song because country songs are really easy. They're not super crazy. They're not going super high. They're not, some are super low. But like, it's usually in a state where I can sing and well enough that it warms my vocals up. Um, and then the other thing that I'll do is I'll do the fucking what do you call it? The Mongolian throat singing stuff
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
because it rattles your throat so well that it kind of loosens it up really
Mhm.
nicely. But that's basically all I do. All of that takes about 10 minutes, give or take. And I'll just go over the same things a few times too to make sure that I'm good. And then I'll do a few test screams like to make sure that my vocals are where it needs to be at because you don't want to feel it here. It's more like behind your tongue, behind your nasal cavity for me. So like I'm trying to like make sure that the placement of the scream is where it needs to be at so that I'm not fucking my throat up. And then I'm good to go. Cause then it's all just muscle memory. You get on stage and you just go. But um yeah, that's typically how I do it at
And
least. I
Travis
feel
Tritt's
like
a
a lot of
first on
people
here. I love that. That's wonderful. That's so good.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like it's funny because well, most people that like metal, like they're like fuck country. Like, dude, I fucking love country music, man. I I grew up with that shit. That's what my dad listened to like all the time. Like it reminds me of home. Especially like '90s and early thousands like country music. Like
Yeah.
I listen to the fuck out of that shit still. Like I
So
like
what I'm
you know
hearing is cover coming.
yeah no.
Dude,
I
you guys
know.
would probably go viral if you somehow managed
Oh
to
yeah,
like
I'm sure.
sing a couple country licks and then just brought in the most stupid breakdown.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure we would. Well, it's funny because
Just
like,
imagine the
I'm all
content.
for like yeah. I'm all for like doing like little genre bending things here and there and like, being humorous. I mean, that's partly how this band has gotten such a good rap is because a lot of we toe the line between serious and not serious because we go back and forth with lyrical content. I mean, our most popular song is about the fucking cockroach from Men in Black. It's the Sugar Water song. I mean
That's when I
that's
read
all
it.
it is.
Honestly, that's what I thought it was. But I was like, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
necessarily ask that because I'm gonna feel like an
that's
idiot. But I mean, as soon as I read
that's what
Sugar
it
Water, I was
is,
like, that's all I could think of was
brother.
Men in
If
Black.
you read the lyrics, because there's a lyric video on our YouTube of it, and it's literally the lyrical content is about the giant cockroach searching the planet for sugar water. That's it. That's what the fucking song's about. It's stupid. But then we have songs that are like super serious about like life, tragedy, like whatever, just life, right?
Yeah,
So we go back and forth, right? And that's why like I love that. That's kind of one of the wonderful things about deathcore is you can have a non-serious song and it sounds super serious because it sounds super angry or like super brutal or whatever you want to call it. But like in reality it's a fucking song about a giant cockroach, like, and that's the funny thing, and nobody would know that unless you look up the lyrics, right? So but yeah, it's fun, man. I love that shit. So
so with that being said, where do you pull from for lyrics? Do you do conceptual? Do you do personal? Do you just whatever you're feeling at the moment? Like, what's kind of your go to?
uh I mean, honestly, it kind of depends. Sometimes my guitarist will have like because I can write about anything, just like I can realistically I can talk about anything. I have the gift of gab. So like, I mean, I could do it with like lyrics too, where like if you give me a topic, I can probably write about it. And if I don't know about the topic, like if it's, you know, a song that is like about a historical event that I have no idea about or something, I'll go research it and I'll write about it. It doesn't bother me to do that. Um, Most of the stuff though is my own uh, thinking. So like again, it goes back and forth between the serious and the non-serious. And the non-serious stuff, the goofy shit, that's like me and my guitarist like bantering and then being like, dude, wouldn't it be funny if we do this? And then we're like, oh fuck yeah, let's do that. And like him and I just like go back and forth about like what we should do. and then I just come up with some bullshit, like not bullshit, but like goofy fucking lyrics, and but they still sound heavy, and everyone's like, "Oh my god," like this is fucking hilarious. I'm like, yeah, cool. So then we just go from there. But then I have songs that are like too poor to pay attention. That song's kind of a personal song. It's about you know being like in life, like you are literally too poor to pay attention to anybody because everybody has like the rat race of life. Like they're all fucking everyone's working, nobody has time for anybody. It's a pain in the ass. And then I've had issues. I've had several of my friends commit suicide. And it's what sucks is being in the Marine Corps and stuff, and you lose a lot of buddies throughout the years to that in the military. And even if you're not in the military, suicide's a bitch. I mean, I think just about everybody I know has dealt with it in some way. Um, but I've lost three friends to it. And when it first happened with one of my good buddies in the Marine Corps, it really fucking sucked. And that's kind of where that was being pulled from. It was like, I thought that he was fine. His whole life seemed like it was getting together. He just got married. He stopped drinking. But he had severe PTSD from Afghanistan and everything, and it ate away at him. And when his coping mechanism was drinking, and he moved away with his new wife, his friend group and everything, his support group really wasn't there, and then that's when he ended up taking his life. And nobody was paying attention to what was going on with him, and that's kind of where that song is kind of being pulled from, where it's like everyone is dealing with this rat race of life, and we're not paying attention to people that we care about, and sometimes bad things happen because of that. So that's kind of what that's from. But so I can write about personal stuff on a personal level, but I also write about you know giant fucking cockroaches and alien invasions and fucking God. I'm trying to think of like other. So the code is about fucking Fight Club. I mean that's that's what that's about. So the movie Fight Club. So I mean it's just
So you broke
I
the
don't know.
rule
It's fun.
essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the whole point of it is like, fucking we don't talk about Fight Club, and it's basically like some of you there's a fucking lyric in there. It's like look around, so many new faces, some of you can't keep your fucking mouth shut. Like that's one of the lyrics. Like it's about Fight Club, and that's that's how I like to write is like I like to write goofy, but I also if I'm feeling a certain way about certain topics, then I'll write about serious shit. So
Okay. Nice.
but
Hell yeah. Is there a lyricist that you look up to or you admire? And it can be any genre. Like there's no
I
rules on
mean,
it.
honestly, like to be honest with you, man, I don't really like a lot of deathcore lyricists, and this is the reason why is like I love their vocals, but deathcore lyrics are sometimes super cheesy, man. I mean, I write cheesy lyrics here and there, but they're supposed to be goofy and funny, and maybe that's why these deathcore vocalists are doing stuff like that too. But some of the stuff almost sounds like like if you read like the King James version of the Bible and it says like thee and thou and stuff like that, it almost sounds like they're trying too hard to sound like extremely articulate when you're in a deathcore band. Now you should strive to have good lyrics, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
like when someone goes to look them up, I look up lyrics. So like, or I like to look at lyric videos. So I like to see what you're writing about, but like, if the lyrics are trash, I'm kind of like, "Ah, that sucks. Like that they're cheesy or lame or corny or whatever." One of the lyricists that I like a lot, it's just because he writes really, they are goofy lyrics, but they're thought provoking lyrics, and they're very witty. You do you know the rapper Hobson? You ever heard of
Mm-mm.
him?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I really like Hobson a lot. He writes like he does write like goofy lyrics and stuff, but he also writes he kind of like me, like he writes goofy, he writes serious. Now granted, he writes a lot wittier stuff than I do, because he's a rapper and like you can understand what he's saying, right? So like there's a lot more weight on what he's saying versus what I'm saying. But his lyrics I fucking love.
Okay.
Almost every song that he has out, I really, really like those songs. Um, trying to think of like a deathcore vocalist that I really enjoy their
It could
lyrics.
be country. It can be anything. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
limits.
I know. I mean, and as far as country goes, like right now, like the guy I think that's killing the game with that is probably Zach Bryan. I fucking love Zach Bryan, and he does have good lyrics. Him and Tyler Childers. Um, my wife's a big fan of Noah Can, which I really like him too. Real soft music. They're real pretty, but it's like it's very like the lyrical content is very very good. So, but those guys like country music and like rap to me is like there's very good lyrics in them. At least if it's like grassroots country or like uh not the mumble rap nonsense that people like. I mean, if you like it, hey, whatever. Who am I to shit on people's musical taste? Because I'm a fucking deathcore vocalist, man. Like, I mean, me saying like, oh, I can't understand that mumble rapper. Like, bro, you're a fucking deathcore vocalist. So
Yeah.
yeah. So a little hypocritical if I say that, but you know,
Nice. This one sucks. This is a tough question. Do you
okay.
have a favorite lyric? It could be one of your own. It can be someone else's. It can be one of each if you
Oh,
have it.
I'm trying to think of like if I have a favorite lyric or a favorite like part of. Man, I don't know, man, because like
It's tough.
there's
This one on the spot is rough.
yeah, it is, and I mean like so just thinking again like the songs that we have out right now, right? Um, the song that we just released, Chelsea Grinned, is about like it's basically about like torturing somebody to death. That's what it's about. Like somebody that's not just like some random person. It's like somebody that sucks ass and you're fucking torturing them to death. That's the fucking that's the lyrical content. But it's not like there's nothing in there that's like super I don't know, to me like really that speaks to me lyrically there. I mean they're good, but it's like not like catching. I can't really think of anything really there. And then we have Too Poor to Pay Attention. I think that's probably where I draw most of the like there's some pretty good lyrical content in there
Okay.
because that was a very serious song. Um there's part in there where I say uh what is it? It's like conceiving or consuming courage by the bottle, inebriated ink, consortium of killers, bleeding bile in the sink, surrounded but alone, baying for an ounce of sleep. I try to take a breath. The atmosphere has left me. That's the
Wow.
last. That's like right before it goes into like the big breakdown thing. Um, and then there's a part in there where it says like silence feeding on your mind sucks on you like a candy. Because like when I was like thinking of that when I was like going through like a really hard time in my life, like when I was like super alone, when you feel like ridiculously alone. Uh, sometimes like, I the wild thing is I love being alone. I thrive on being alone. It's like that's where I find the most peace is when I'm alone. And I don't get that a lot anymore, which is fine because like I love being a dad, I love being a husband. Don't get me wrong, but like I love my own time
Yeah.
too. Like when I get it, I'm like, fuck yeah, I love the peace. I love being alone. But when you're alone and you're going through shit, and like the silence is like so fucking deafening, it feels like it's eating you and and it feels like it's like fucking chewing you up and spitting you out. Like that's kind of where my mind was going with that. But yeah, so that's I guess that's where I would say the Too Poor to Pay Attention probably has, in my opinion, the most thought provoking lyrical content that we've written. As far as like actual like good lyrics, in my opinion. So
Okay. Nice. Very nice. All right. So, tips for new songwriters as far as like lyrics, patterns, flow, cadence, all that good stuff. What kind of advice can you give them?
yeah. One thing that again going back to like being cheesy and corny, one thing I want people to understand with like lyrics is it's good to rhyme, but over rhyming sounds like you're fucking Dr. Seuss. I hate over rhyming. God, it fucking
You don't
drives
want
me
Doctor
insane.
Seuss in Deathcore?
No,
No
fuck
green
no.
eggs and ham? Nothing.
Nah, none of that shit. Not in my deathcore. But like, there's just like I love when people switch it up and they do like, I mean, fuck, dude, like you think about it, like when you were in English class as a kid, and like you had to do like creative writing or something, and they tell you like using hyperboles, using similes, using like God, what's the word where you like you use like a kind of, I can't think of the, I know what it is if I write this kind of way, but like it's not rhyming. But if you say like Sally's salty seashells, like it's like all S words, and they like it's similar sounding stuff, right? And then also don't be afraid to like, if you're like on something that's like really powerful in your music lyrically, don't be afraid to repeat that line a few times over and over. Like scream it, shout it, whatever. Like break it up differently, like do it in like the normal cadence and then do it in like a triplet thing. Like the the way that I've always explained triplets to people is funny because like staying on time with it. When I was a kid, like I had a really hard time staying on time, and I would be like, I don't get it. Like I don't know what a triplet is, and my drummer would be like triplet. Like that's how he would say it. So when I like do stuff in triplets, my mind is saying triplet. So I don't know. That's yeah. Anyway, but don't be afraid to write about whatever you want. It doesn't have to be serious. You can write about whatever. Just make the lyrics interesting. That's it. And for me, um, like I said, you don't have to have a fucking wall of words. You don't have to sound like you're fucking Shakespeare. That shit drives me up the walls in deathcore when I'm like, again, the these and thous kind of thing. Where if I feel like I'm like reading that, I'm like, God, this is too archaic sounding. I don't like this. It's lame. I'm like, I don't like that. It's stupid. Um, yeah, and I mean, I'm not knocking on it. Again, like to each their own. And
Yeah.
sometimes it sounds great, but once I know the lyrics, I'm like, ah, man, now I don't like it as much because it sounds like that to me. Um, but yeah, man, I just don't be afraid to like write the way that you want to. And if you are not a great writer, practice, because the more you practice, you will start to write better. I guarantee it. I write all the fucking time. Like, and that's why like it's not super hard for me to sit down and write a song or two a day if I get asked to by the band. Like I can knock out like a song or two, and it doesn't take me that long. So, but
And something to keep
and
in mind
also,
when
oh
when people are writing lyrics, not everything you write is going to be golden.
yeah,
Like you're going to
well
write some
here's
shit. There's going to be stuff that's just it's not going to work. It's not good.
yeah
And that's fine. That's you get that out.
yeah
But then you'll find maybe like one line that like just resonates and you can build off that one line. Then it's two lines and then
yeah
it's a whole verse and then you got a whole song
yep
just off of that one single idea, that one line that sparks it all.
yep. Yeah, and the other thing too is like don't be afraid to use the internet. Like I can't tell you like so many times where if I'm having writer's block, because it does happen. It happens to every
Yes.
fucking writer. And if you cannot think of like the concept where you want the song to go, but you can't find the word to continue you forward, go to fucking Google and type in a word that means what you're thinking, even if it's not the word that you want. Type like if you're looking for like a really uh powerful word, but you can't think of that word, but a word that kind of means that, type that word in and type in like, I don't know, if the word is, I don't know, happy, right? If the word's happy, type in happy synonyms and it'll bring up a fucking list of synonyms for happy. And you have a fucking laundry list of things to choose from. And maybe you don't find it there. Maybe you decide, you know what, I'm going to go in a different direction. But like, that's the thing. It's like, don't be afraid to use the internet. Like we have so many tools at our hand nowadays, like that we didn't have when we were kids. Because like if you didn't know shit back then, like I mean, I didn't have the internet for a long time when I was a kid growing up. Not till I was probably like, I don't know. I'd have to go to a friend's house a lot of times to get on the internet. We had dial up, and dial
Yeah.
up sucks. So like, just that's just how it was. You'd have to have like a fucking dictionary or a thesaurus if you wanted to look up words sometimes. But now you have Google, so just use it.
Yeah. There's a wealth of
That's my
knowledge at your
advice.
fingertips, your phones,
Yeah,
everything.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So,
So you've kind of already talked about some of this like briefly, but do you have a favorite part you like to do vocally live? And on the flip side, when you're in the studio, no, we've all been guilty of it. Most of us, when you're writing, you don't necessarily think about, hey, I need to breathe during this part live. This sounds so
Yeah,
sick now, but on stage, I need to be able
yeah.
to breathe. And yeah, is there a part that
So
you don't hate but you dread because it is a little rough because of how you record it in the studio?
so not. I don't dread my parts that I do.
Guest parts.
I dread I dread doing guest vocal parts when they're not there because I'm like, for instance, we just did this thing with Mouthbreaker, and Mouthbreaker does a fucking little rap portion in there, and I'm like, oh fuck, there's a lot of lyrics in there, and like I know them, but like I will forget them if I don't practice them, so like I have to stay sharp on them. Aside from that, like when Brandon Watson came down to do his part is fucking nuts. I mean, he does like the whistle scream stuff, which I can also do, but I can only hit. So this is where I'm going with like the different vocal techniques with exhale and inhale, right? I do both. I don't give a fuck. People say like, oh, I've heard so many things where people are like inhales are bullshit, and I'm like, I don't fuck you. I don't give a shit. Inhales are important if you can do them right, and if they're the only thing, and because like there are bands that have made their entire careers off of inhales. I think Peeling Flesh only does inhales too. Remember them saying that in an interview. I think I don't know, but like
Browning,
that's the thing
the
is
vocalist of the
Brown
Browning,
the Browning. Yep, the
he
Browning
does
does
it.
that, and that's the thing. That's the thing is like it's not bullshit. It's just if it sounds good and it doesn't hurt, then why not fucking use it? Like, why does it matter to you that much? And that shit pisses me off with that. So I do both. I know in order to hit some of the things that Brandon is doing in his vocal piece in the Path of the Righteous Man, I have to do inhales. So I have to switch over from going in exhales because the whole song for me is exhales up until that point. And then the other vocalist who's on that song, his name is Brace. He's also our producer. He does some crazy shit where he's like in the middle of Brandon shit. He's doing like it's not shotgun vocals, but it's very fast with this weird goblin-y fucking thing that he does. And that's the thing, is like I'm like, I can do it, but I'm like, fuck man, like y'all know I have to do this shit live, right? Like,
You got
and
to
I'm
recruit your
glad that
bass
they
player.
made it.
Somebody's got to help you at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, well, here's the thing. It's like the way I view it is this with guest spots, when we do it live and those guests aren't there, I'm just gonna fucking do it my way because it's me and not them. And
Yeah.
I'm just it's still gonna sound good. It's just gonna sound like me and not like Brandon and not like Brace. And that's again going back to that thing we said before, is like you're not gonna sound like everybody.
Right.
And you have to come to terms with that, like especially if you have guest features, because you have to perform that live.
Yeah.
You have to make it sound like somewhat like that. So it's got to be interesting to listen to. So that's the shit that I dread the most. But my favorite, I think my favorite vocal piece that I have done so far that I'm really excited to do live, because I haven't done it live yet. I've done it at practice, but it's at the end of the song "Please End Me," I do this weird fucking vocal shit that there's no lyrics. It's just I'm just doing the
Just
quote unquote
noises.
vocal. Yeah, I'm just fucking riffing, and it sounds nasty. And I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be so much fun to do live. So that I'm excited for. And it's not very taxing on my vocals either. Like because it's me. Like I know how I made those sounds because I fucking did them.
Yeah.
So like that's exactly like that's why I mean like as far as running out of breath on things, yeah, there's some parts that might be a little scary to be like, ah, fuck, like I got to be careful about moving around so much here because it's going to be a lot of air expelled. But at the same time, when you're playing live, especially with deathcore, and if you're going really fast and you kind of like half do a word, like no one really notices it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as long as it sounds good, as long as you keep the flow and you hit the lyrics where they're supposed to be at, you can cut out a little early and go to the next line if you have to. But it's fine, but you just have to be understanding of that too. Like that might be something you have to do, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. So
All right, this next one's a fun one. And when I wrote this question, it was inspired by Adam D of Kill Switch Engage and
Okay.
Kyle Medina of Body Snatcher.
Okay.
And it is, do you have a favorite call out? And the reason it's inspired by them is because we
Yeah.
have our bands, and there is no shame in however you want to do it. It doesn't matter. Whatever gets the crowd going, whatever fits your band, the theme you kind of, or the niche you have, whatever. There's the, I don't want to call them generic call outs because I don't want to piss anybody off, but there's the normal call outs, like you hear a lot of bands say it, and we've all said them. There's the normal stuff
Yeah.
you say, but then there's the
Yeah.
stuff that is completely out of left field that makes no sense, has no relevance to anything in the song most times, and it's just
Mhm.
like something completely random, and then the breakdown happens, and people are just
Yeah.
like, "What the hell did he just say?" But
What?
then they're
Yeah.
going, "Yeah,"
Yeah.
and that's why I want this because the answers are all over the place. But do you have a
Yeah.
favorite one that you've done or that stands out to you?
Yeah. My favorite one, and I had it planned. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to try this. And it went off. It did really well. And I think there's a video floating around of it somewhere. If you scroll way down on our fucking Instagram. And that was with the old crew, obviously. And I told them, I was like, I'm gonna try this for this show. And they're like, yeah, yeah, do it, you do it. But it's funny because like this is a call out. This is something I got from the Marine Corps when I was in boot camp in the Marine Corps, and they used to say, like if you were far away from somebody, right, and you were like hiking, you had all your fucking bags on, you had all your kit on and stuff, and you'd be walking, and the drill instructor would say like AT&T, and then the fucking thing that you would have to say back was reach out and touch someone, and you would have to run forward and like touch the bag, or you got fucked up because you didn't touch it in time. So like that's what I said. I said AT&T, reach out and touch someone, and then it just like went into this like crazy guttural that I did. It made me so happy because like people went pretty fucking nuts for it. I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. Because like you think about it, like you got to reach out and touch someone in the fucking pit.
Yeah,
So like I don't know. I thought it was funny, but that's the coolest one I think I've done live. Um, I love seeing creative ones that make sense. Like I like witty shit, like
yeah,
shit that's like shit that makes sense. I love what Kyle's doing right now. He's just going to people and saying like, "What's a good call out?"
it,
And it's like, "I
it's
don't know,"
clever.
and then he just goes, "I don't know," and then it goes into the
I love the
like,
smile he has before. You know
yeah,
when it's coming because
yeah,
he is just cheesing so hard, and
yeah,
Chris
yeah,
on the drums is cheesing. You know what's
yep,
about to happen, but it works.
yep, yeah,
It's
and
clever.
it's so funny because like, and dude, they found a niche like, and they are fucking killing it with that content now.
Yeah,
And again, going back to content, you find something that works, you stick with it because it becomes your thing and you'll get really popular for doing it. And people will try and copy it, but those people will be like the fans of the original thing to be like, well, so and so's just you're just copying so and so. And it's like, well, yeah. So like you have to find your niche.
yeah.
But that's yeah, that's
Body
their
Snatcher's some
thing that they kind
hardworking
of
dudes,
started.
man. I have a ton of respect for him.
Yeah.
Kyle's a great dude. He's awesome guy.
Kyle is a fucking awesome dude. I met him had a show down here in Jacksonville and got to take pictures with him. He's short, man.
He's,
I thought he was a lot taller. He's a short dude. But God, man, he's got a fucking monstrous fucking voice.
yeah.
And then freaking
He's got that. You were talking about it when we were talking about like frontman and stuff like that. He's got a presence. Like his
yeah,
voice is big and unique.
yeah,
His voice is not what I would normally call like a deathcore voice. He's got more of
yeah,
like it's more of like on the hardcore side of things,
yeah,
but
yep,
it's still got that beef to it where
yeah.
it just it
He's
works
got
really
that
well.
he's got that good rasp. I think that probably one of the most menacing deathcore vocalists I've ever seen on stage, because I didn't realize how fucking big he is Tyler from Traders. Dude, that dude is a fucking he's like he's gotta be like at least 6'4". And his vocals coupled with how fucking tall he is, he just looks like a fucking monster on stage. And then to couple that, like he's in every single pit for every single band before him. Like he's constantly just down there getting it.
Wow.
And I'm like, good for you, dude. Like he just does not get winded. I'm like, I don't understand how you don't, man. I don't get it. So, and some people just have that endurance, man,
Yeah.
naturally. I have to find a balance. Some people are just like, fuck it, full send, and they just go. So, but Yeah.
But yeah, Kyle, all them, dude, they're so sick. And he's got like that like the local band personality, like just the good
Yeah.
dude, like real humble,
Yep.
real chill, talk to him, real
Yep.
friendly, then gets on stage and is real pissed. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
He's a super nice guy. Yeah.
all right, sports inspired question. Obviously, you're a sports fan based on your hat, so should be up your alley. Do you have any pre-show studio or studio rituals? And it could be like superstition stuff like that. It could be anything. So it's always an interesting question with vocalists. It can be anything from like fist bump before the show to I've had people that only drink a certain color Gatorade going in the studio to wearing show socks, show shoes, show clothes on tour, especially because they smell
Yeah.
awful and they're sweaty is a common one. Two, one band would not say it's a good show until they're in the van bus and they're out of the city. Then they could be like, that was a good show because they couldn't jinx anything
Yeah.
at that location.
Yeah. I think that, so I don't know if we're going to stick with this, but like the old crew, what we would do is like before every show, we would say, like, we're going to suck. Like, we would say we're going to suck
Reverse psychology it.
because we're getting it out already saying, like, hey, like, we're going to suck tonight. And it's like, yeah, we're going to suck. Like, we're just like, fuck it, whatever. But like, and then we just never did. Like, every fucking show that we played, to be fair, which this is wild to me, since this band has been a band, we've only played 7 shows live in this band, in I Am Mook. Um, and it still has the traction that it has. That's why it's mind blowing to me. And we just want to get out there and fucking play again because we just want to we want to see like, well, fuck, like since we stopped playing, it's grown tenfold of what it was when we were playing because people really took to the new style of our writing that we were doing. And we're like, fuck, dude, like we want to see what our reach actually is. Like we want to see how many people we can get out to a fucking show. So, but yeah, man, I guess that's really the only one that I can think
Okay.
of that
That
like
works.
we would do before a show. I don't really know if we'll have another tradition. We'll see, I guess.
I like it
So,
though. Work. The reverse psychology works for sure.
oh yeah,
And I love
yeah,
asking this because obviously, if you didn't wear that pair of socks or you didn't do that, I'm sure the show would go fine. Things happen no matter
yeah,
what. Like shit
oh
breaks.
yeah.
Stuff's gonna happen. But it's just that
Dude,
like I don't know that comfort, I guess, if you will, having that superstition. Like you have that little
dude,
extra security.
you know what's so funny to me is like there have been shows where I get off the stage and I'm like, man, I didn't sound my best. It wasn't that great of a show. Like you're down on yourself, and then everybody in the crowd's like, "Oh my god, you guys were fucking amazing. That was fucking sick." Blah blah blah. Like, how do you do that with your vocals? Shit like that, and you're like, "Oh, maybe I didn't." Like, it feels really good to hear that validation as a vocalist, especially when you're really kicking yourself because you're like, "I could have done better." And then on the flip side, our guitarists and bassists and drummer, they're like, "Oh, I missed this and I fucked up," and it's like, well, "Fuck, I didn't know."
Yeah.
Like I didn't hear it, I'm just getting it. So like, and they were all on time, and they obviously fixed the issue. So like, you're gonna fuck up. Like it's not always gonna be a perfect show. The point of it is that you put on a good show, right? That's the goal. It doesn't matter if you're playing in front of 5 people. It doesn't matter if you're playing in front of 2,000 people. Like you just put on a good show,
Yeah.
right? You want people to enjoy. Like you want them to get their money's worth for what they came out for. So that's kind of how I feel about it as a vocalist.
Yeah.
Like,
I am I was always a really bad perfectionist. Like
yeah,
we as a band, I'd be like, yeah, that was a sick show. And they'd be like, yeah, you did great. I'm like, yeah, but third song, this verse, I kind
yeah,
of like I didn't hit the tone I wanted like perfectly.
yeah,
So to
right,
me, like I would always find little faults. Like obviously, if it was like a bad show across the board, it'd be like, yeah, we all, yeah, it was not great. But
yeah,
even if it was a good show, I'd be like, well, I wasn't happy with what I did here. But yeah, the show was
yeah,
cool. But that's just me though. That's like I don't
yeah.
know.
No,
I'm
I
never
mean,
satisfied.
dude, everyone is always their worst critic, man, and that's me included. Like, we'll have a great show, and I'll feel like shit about it, but people tell me otherwise, and your fans are gonna like.
Yeah.
There's you're gonna know if you didn't do good because no one's gonna talk to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're a band, right, that sucked, you're not going to have people coming up to your booth singing your praises.
Yeah.
You're not, because they don't want anything to do with you. They're not going to be a dick and be like, you fucking suck. If you might get like one or two hecklers that are like that. That's not that's never ever happened to me. I don't know. I don't think that's very common, but
Yeah.
I do think you will know if you actually do suck. That means that like probably no one's going to want to fuck with you.
Yeah.
So
You get the
that's
crickets.
yeah, you get crickets. Like nobody's coming up after. Nobody cares. You know, if people are coming up to you and saying like how great it was and you guys sounded amazing, you've won.
Yeah.
You've done it. You put on a good show. So, but
I love
that's half the battle.
we played a show. It was one of the last shows like my old band played, and we drove to Cincinnati. Well, it was like right outside of Cincinnati. It was Newport, Kentucky, and we were
Okay.
playing with the guy that did guest vocals. It was his band. It was See a Treachery and stuff like that. Playing with
Okay.
him. He didn't tell me how hard of a market it was up there. He didn't tell me anything about how they respond to like out of town bands. Nothing. He was just like, "Yo, come play the show. It's a reunion show for
Yeah.
us. Whatever." I was like, "Sick, yeah, we're down." So we
Yeah.
drove, go all day. It's like a big long thing. We play, crush it. It was a great set. Like I was happy with the set. In the night, they play their set. They do everything. He comes up. He's like, "You guys did great tonight. Y'all did really well. You always do good, but you did great." And I was like, "I appreciate that." And he was like, "Yeah, a lot of time the locals around here, they don't really respond well to like out of town bands." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm so glad I knew that now."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, you guys crushed it. Like they were all around your merch table. They were dancing. Like they were into
Yeah.
it." And like,
Yep.
I was like, well, "That's good to know." But I wish I would have
Yeah.
known that beforehand.
Yeah.
But
And that is a struggle if you're not part of that scene, and if
yeah,
if you're a new band to somebody, it's hard getting people into your stuff right away.
yeah,
Like if you got a fan base, they're like they know the songs, they're ready to go. Like they've been waiting and hoping for you to play. So once you get up there, if you got those fans, they'll get the pits started and all the other stuff. If you have zero fans, you have to convince them
you got to win them
that
over.
you're worth it. Yeah, you got to win them over, and it usually doesn't happen the first or second song.
Yeah,
It usually happens in the middle of the set. And usually you have to heckle the crowd a little bit. Like I didn't know I was like fucking playing for a bunch of pussies. Like just you fuck with them, or you get down there yourself. Like I said, like I have a wireless mic just for that, just so I can fucking be like, all right, if I don't see any fucking movement, I'm coming down there. And then I go into the next song, and if nobody's moving, I'm starting it up. Like I'm gonna get you moving. Don't worry. So like, that's how I view it. Like I will get you moving somehow, but it's all a dance, and that might not work in my favor one of these days. Like trying to get people to move, I might push the wrong person. Someone might knock my fucking lights out. Who fucking knows? It's a gamble, dude. Who
yeah.
fucking knows? So, and that's at the end of the day, that's the scene that we decided to be a part of. That's the music that we decided to be in. And some people come to shows and they're not into it. They're just there because somebody drug them there, and hey, whatever. But
Do you have a
yeah.
show that stands out to you that was a favorite show you've done so far?
Yeah, my favorite show that we've played so far is it's in a place called the Den in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Real small venue, real fucking small. I love small, intimate venues. I
Yeah,
love floor shows. I mean, obviously, playing a big show is amazing. Like having a huge crowd is amazing because you get more response that way. But the intimate crowd, it's fun because it's like they're right there.
yeah.
Um, and that's where you get all the mic
Screaming
grabs
kids'
and all the
faces, just
yeah.
touch them.
It's so much fun. Yeah. And it was packed. And it's a small venue. So you're talking like maybe 35 people in that venue, and it was packed. It was small. But like we had the whole place packed out, which again, not anything to brag out for how small the venue is, but it just felt so fucking energetic because it was so fucking packed and there were so many people going crazy in there. That was a fun fucking show. And again, speaking to our own, not toot my own horn or like saying anything about the other local bands, but like once we stop playing, a lot of people leave. That happens almost every show that we played at so far. Is like we'll stop playing and then people fucking leave. And it kind of sucks for the local bands because I'm like, dude, you should probably stay for the other people, you know, because they
Yeah.
have something to offer too. Um, but yeah, man, but it does make you feel good, I guess, kind of a little bit like in a conceited way, like, you know, wow, like these people stuck around for my band and then left after we played. You know, it does make you feel a little good, but you're also like, ah, it kind of sucks. And then you feel like you got to stay there for the other bands too. Like even if you're super far away from home and you have to get home, you're like, ah, I can't just leave these dudes here.
Yeah.
You know, which I have done before because I'm like, fuck, I got shit to do tomorrow morning. I got to go to work. You know, whatever the case is. But like, it just depends, man. But
We
yeah,
there used to be a venue in Alabama we would play frequently back in the day, and it was like that. It was they had a drum riser and
yeah,
then a tiny stage. I mean, like 6 inches maybe off the floor. Like, and
yeah,
the guitars, cabs, stuff were up there, bass player, and then I was on the
yep,
floor. Like I was face to face with everybody dancing. I was like out in
yeah,
there, and it was not a big venue by any means. Like you said, maybe know, maybe a 50. I mean, 100. If they could fit 100 people in there, I would be surprised. I mean,
yeah,
it was not a big venue, but it would just get so wild, and it was so intense and
yeah,
so intimate, and there was something about that chemistry, that
yeah,
energy. It's so fun.
yeah. I
Uh,
love that kind of stuff. Yeah.
so what do we have on the horizon? You kind of touched on it earlier. What's on the horizon
Um,
for the band?
so I can't announce the first show that we have
Okay.
coming back with the new lineup only because it hasn't been announced yet. We all the bands kind of agreed like, hey, we're not gonna say anything till the official flyer comes out, all that other stuff. So I can't really say, but there is a show coming up. It's going to be closer towards the end of the year, which we're super excited about. Plus, it gives us plenty of time to make sure that our ducks are in a row, like getting all of our stuff nice and tight, since we are all living so far away from each other. Aside from that, what I was talking to you before we started the show and everything, we do have a new single coming out. That's going to be October 29th. The song is called Bros of Decay. It is a little different than the other stuff that we've had before. Um, it's like it's a deathcore song that kind of has a little bit more of a groove to it. It's still really fucking heavy. It's just not super breakdown heavy like the rest of our stuff. But the big seller for this song is the feature that we're gonna have on it, which is gonna be Alex Kohler, now of Amiona, but former vocalist for Chelsea Grin. I mean, most people know who Alex
Yeah.
Kohler is. Um, Super good guy. Super pumped to have him on the track. I was trying to convince him to fly out here from fucking Utah to do the music video with us, and he's not like opposed to the idea, but I don't think it's going to happen because like you know obviously we can't in good faith have him fly out here for nothing. Like we'd have to pay him. I'm pretty sure he would expect payment too. Like because I mean who are we? You know he doesn't know who the fuck we are necessarily. And while he is a good dude, like if you're good at something, you don't do something for
Yeah.
free, right? Or at least you shouldn't. Um, but yeah, he's super pumped about it. He's going to be pushing it on his I think his Twitch when it comes out. Um, but we're going to start probably pushing promotion for the release of that um, next Monday, I believe. We're not going to do any teasers. Something I've also learned is like never fucking show your hand with songs. It's very rare that I show any like what the song sounds like because I want it to be a fucking brand new song when they hear it. Like when
Yeah.
people hear it, I want it to be brand fucking new. Um, but yeah, so feature with Alex Kohler, song called Bros of Decay, that's coming out October 29th. And show coming up before the end of the year. And we are trying to get a small run of shows going. That might be with Salem Trials.
Sick.
Um, we don't know 100% yet, so don't quote me on that. And the dates aren't necessarily locked in, but we are talking to some people about trying to get some stuff going that way. Um, but yeah, so things are starting to move. It's a little slower than I think myself and my guitarist would like because we're super like gung ho about it. The other dudes are too, but they're just like because they are newer members, you know, they're a little more hesitant to like go because you know when you're in this field too and you're in this, you know, in music, like you've been burned by other artists before probably and like
Yep.
other bands, and like you put all your time and effort into them and then they just fuck you over, and it's like that's shitty, and I get it, like, so, but yeah, we're all super excited, so uh yeah, that's the newest stuff that I can think of right
Nice.
now, so
Awesome. I'm stoked. Can't wait to hear it, and looking forward to seeing some announcements and all that good stuff,
yeah,
man.
absolutely, man, yeah.
All right. What I like to do, I've took up a lot of your time. I know you're a busy man. Lots of stuff going on.
You're good, man.
So, last two things. First thing, I like to give you the floor, let you plug whatever. We will add it in the description down below. But plug away whatever you want to plug. I know you just kind of gave an update on what's coming up, but
Yeah, yeah.
plug.
So I guess my first plug would be again the October 29th show, or October 29th show, the October 29th release of Bros of Decay featuring Alex Kohler. That's going to be a great song. And then we are going to start, I forgot to mention this, we are going to start releasing a second EP, which we are tentatively going to release before the end of the year.
Oh, nice.
Um, so another 6-song EP is kind of what we're looking at. No set dates on it yet, but that's something to kind of get excited about. Show coming up at the end of the year. Um, Obviously, like we just dropped that single with a Mouthbreaker. It's called Chelsea Grinned. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. We also have uh, a music video that we recently put out with Brandon Watson called The Path of the Righteous Man. And that song is also super fucking nasty. And you can find that our YouTube channel as well as on Slam Worldwide. And the same thing with Chelsea Grin. You can also find that on Slam Worldwide. And yeah, anyways, those bands are phenomenal. Misery's End, check them out. Deadlocked, Mouthbreaker. My guitarist's other project, which is called Basalt. That's a partnered project with Brandon Watson. And if you haven't seen that yet, awesome fucking stuff. They're making like horror based deathcore music. So they're super pumped about that. I'm on one of them called Thermal Vision Execution. It's about Predator. So yeah, good shit, man. But I think that's all that I really have. So
All right. And I'll have links for Spotify and all that good stuff down below. Instagram, YouTube, all that for you guys.
awesome, brother.
Absolutely. All right. What I like to do end is maybe there's vocalists out there wanting to get into vocals. Kind of like we said, there's a wealth of knowledge now, you know, with the internet. So
Yep.
maybe they found this episode and they're trying to pick up the mic and get into it, or maybe there's someone that's been doing it for a few years and they're in a rut or something. Who knows? Or even a veteran that's been doing it. What kind of advice can you give to the vocalists out there to kind of help them get to that next step and just kind of, you know?
You know, I guess my best advice to learn how to do these style of vocals or to branch into it is just try things. Obviously, exercising caution. If something hurts, you shouldn't be overdoing it. You know, if something hurts, you're probably doing it wrong. You know, so readjust. But don't get discouraged just because, like, it's kind of like riding a bicycle. Like when you were a kid and you first got on a bike, you weren't doing it. Like you were falling off. Like you couldn't stay steady. You had to have training wheels. Like you have to figure out where you sit with your vocals again because your vocals are going to be different than everybody else's. But look up vocal tutorials, look up the terminology too, because when you know the terminology, you can figure out what you're trying to do better. um like the techniques like tunnel throat and, you know, false chord and, you know, all that stuff, inhales, exhales, you know, look up that stuff and different tutorials on that, and then obviously practice all the different things that you can do with your mouth shape and tongue position, because that is really, in my mind, that is where most of your tone comes from. And that's probably going to be the most important thing that you learn how to do when you generate your own specific sound. So
Okay. Nice. Well, thank you so much for your time, for the advice. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm stoked for all the new stuff for you guys coming out. You guys are crushing it, man. I swear, it's like everything you're doing is getting bigger and bigger, which is awesome. So Keep it up, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, dude.
Dude, absolutely. It was a pleasure, and looking forward to the future with you guys have in store for us.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. You too.
All right, man. You take care.
All right. Later, man.
Thank you all so much for watching or listening to this episode of Behind the Vocals featuring Tom Verbos of I Am Mook. Please be sure to check out all the links down below to go show I Am Mook some love on Spotify, YouTube, as well as all their other socials, and keep an eye out for new songs, EPs, show dates, and much, much more. Thank you all so much for watching or listening. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I'll catch you guys and gals on the next one.